This goes out to all the women in the world, especially her. You know it don't even matter your age, don't even matter your color. Yo, fellas, I ain't forget about y'all. This is for everybody that like to dance. Just listen to what I'm saying and do it and take a chance. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Just get on the floor like I said before. Y'all remember that down low? Just put a little dip with it. Now roll those hips with it. Pop it, push it, rock it, roll it. Can't control it, I come hold it. It's all in fun, so take a chance. Just get on the floor and do that dance, y'all. I know you like it, so don't try to fight it. Turn around, baby, let me see you from the back. Yeah, I like it like that. Get up now, roll those hips. Drop down, double up on those dips. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do it right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Back again with the second verse. It's all clean, so I'm not gonna curse. Dropping bass like a bad habit. Love all women, cause I gotta have it. Coming at y'all in stereo. I'm riding that thing like a rodeo. Hang on, baby, cause the ride is rough, and I got my girls in the front. Now and later, just bumping that rump. Raise it up, let me see that ground. Slap it, girl, make it jiggle around. Round and round that rump goes. Where it stop, yo, no one knows, yeah. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind.
Well, all right, y'all. All right, y'all. If you ain't dipping, then you must be tripping. If you ain't doing it down low, you got to go. Got to go. To the people that moving slow, just moving slow. Yo, DJ, pump it up some more.
It's off to the show in a limo. Before the show, I gotta get that dough. Pay them girls what they worth. Slip that money under that skirt. Take it off, baby, let me see. You might get a little more lip G-string, having oh so much fun. Playing inside between them buns. Shawty got it going on like Marvin. Teasing me and she know I'm starving. Lick you up, then lick you down. I ain't finished, girl, turn around. Lick you up and down your back, cause I'm that freak, I'm freaky like that. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. I'm setting it off to another level. You digging freak nasty without a shovel? This is my world. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. So what's up, yo DJ? When the party's getting slow, join this jam and watch that flow get taken over like a 94. When I have the whole world getting down low. New Orleans born, ATL living. Freak nasty is what I'm giving. My juice is sweet like Georgia peaches. Women suck it up like leeches. It feels so good, you must admit you like this. Yeah, y'all know the song. So come on, won't you sing it? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You
I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift. The baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moon.
All right, chat. How we all doing tonight? How we all doing? A little earlier than normal. A little earlier than normal for my night owl ass. Somebody says, don't forget to stare directly into the sun at the eclipse of the zenith tomorrow to get your superpowers. Well, I'll do that. I'll do that. People freaking out about it. People, bunch of, we had an earthquake and what was I think Marjorie Green or whatever that bitch's name, she was going on about, God sent this earthquake. How come whenever there's an earthquake, this is a little question, guys. Whenever there's an earthquake, somebody comes out there and they're sure that God specifically sent this earthquake because he's mad. The person that's sure of that is always like, and God just happens to be mad at the people I'm also mad at. You ever notice that? Nobody ever comes out and goes, guys, God did that earthquake, and after some careful soul searching, I'm pretty sure I'm the one that pissed him off. Nobody ever says that. People come out there and go, guys, God sent the earthquake because of all the people I don't like. He completely agrees with me that those people suck, and he's had enough of their shit. Christian says, been off having a baby and about to get married, just as the world seems to. That's kind of not the order you're supposed to be doing that in. I don't know, Mr. Good Christian Boy here. I don't believe that's the order you're supposed to be doing that in. Good God, I know someone. I'm not going to name names. Nobody listens to this anyways, but I'm not going to name names. But I know somebody from the church, daughter of a family I'm very close to. I went to her wedding last year. She just got married. She's like 20, 21, something like that. She's like just out of high school. 22 maybe. I don't know. I'm old. Time's just marching by. But the dude she married is closer to my age. She's like 36, 37. And she's young, energetic, happy-go-lucky girl. And they both work on like a farm. I moved down to Maryland, work on a farm. But like farm hands, that kind of expensive horse country where you can make really good money being a farm hand, right? So, and from all the talking I ever did to that guy, he kind of seemed like, not common for evangelical types, but he seemed like he wanted to just have a marriage. He seemed indifferent to the idea of having kids, or at the very least didn't want to right away. Well, about a month after they're married, she's pregnant. He doesn't. I'm like, wow. I'm not going to name names. Wow, Scott. Not his name. A little surprised. He goes, yeah, I was a little surprised too. Okay. All right. Well. Wait. And I just saw her the other day, and holy shit. Almost didn't recognize her. First of all, she's very far along. And I want to say she's at least 7 months pregnant. I don't know. But, and they're up here to go to a wedding. She's dressed like a little old Mennonite lady all of a sudden. I don't know, maybe that's just she's got these old lady glasses on. She's put on some weight. I don't begrudge a pregnant woman that. She's a little grumpy. I don't begrudge a pregnant woman like that. But I just, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, you look older than your mother. My God. She looks 10 years older. I was shocked. And I thought, oh man, I wonder if that guy's thinking in the back of his head, because you can't really say it out loud. You can't even really admit it to yourself. But he's like, this ain't what I signed on for. I don't know, chat. I don't know. Maybe he's happy. I don't know. I hope he is. I hope he is, because it died his fucking cast. But I don't know, man. I'm not, and it's not to sound like those fucking red pill spurgs are like, oh, she's a married woman, she's going to get fat, and her legs are going to slam together, and then she'll divorce rape you. Like, look, a lot of people get married, and then suddenly it's not what they signed on for. Male and female. A lot of women get married, and they think he's Prince fucking Charming, and it turns out not quite so much. So he says, thoughts on Medicare versus Mersh? You seem to be fond of both. I do like both of them. I do like both. I know my good buddy Andrew Banner on Twitter Mersh follows him back. Yeah, I like Mersh. I like Medicare even. I don't know. I don't really think Medicare came across that great this last time. I mean, like, going on about how Mersh liked a tweet from somebody that was he liked a tweet from somebody that was yelling at me, and that person's a satanic pedophile. And it's like, okay, but like, people don't run a background check on somebody before they like a tweet. I don't know what to tell you there. I one time accidentally retweeted The Amazing Atheist because he was going by something else on Twitter, and I didn't recognize him without a banana up his ass, and I just happened to agree with the point he was making in that moment. You know, if you retweet somebody, at least this is what I thought, or even just like a tweet, it's kind of just a thumbs up to that particular tweet, not the entire fucking person. Yeah, I don't think, but I also think Merch going on about Medicare's faking his cancer is kind of cringe, though. Like, he might be, I don't know. I had Medicare on this show one time, years ago. I don't even remember what the fuck we talked about. He probably doesn't remember me at all. So I'm not close to Medicare. I don't have an incentive in fucking defending him, but I don't think he's faking his fucking illness. Maybe he is. It's possible, sure. But I think like all the people going on about he's faking his illness, their argument is essentially it's possible and I don't like him, which isn't exactly the most compelling of evidence. Forney says I got to check Skype. Oh, by the way, we have a super chat. I always say you could send a super chat when I'm not live, and I'll see it when I am live. And here we go.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Duke of Tumwater donates $25, says, watch the video Joe and Matt Walsh disagree over gay marriage on the channel Powerful JRE. Okay. I mean, I need the money. I can't fucking turn down the money. You're at least paid. God, somebody in my Discord is trying to get me to watch this fucking, I think it's called like PaxTube. It's this trad Catholic channel that literally has an anime girl as an avatar. It's that fucking cliched. Some autistic trad Catholic needs to go outside and touch grass or go talk to a girl and touch bush. And I'm like, no. I'm so done with those types. I don't even want to hear it from most Protestant social conservatives anymore, okay? I'm so done with those types. Especially one that some weird little fucking weeaboo autistic fucker. Like, nah, man. I would, if you were like, okay, here are two people that, and you have to ask one of them about theology. One of them is a trad Catholic with an anime avatar, and the other is a crackhead outside 7-Eleven in piss and cum stained sweatpants, mumbling about nonsense. I'm like, I'll take the crackhead. That's gonna at least be entertaining. So it says, I remember you and Medicare talking about Gamergate last year in the 2016 election. That's about it. That might have been what we talked about. I don't fucking remember. The reason I had him on, literally, is I was still on Twitter. It wasn't my good buddy Andrew Banner telling me what's going on Twitter. It was me. I didn't have to ask my buddy about it. And I just said I was going to do an impromptu stream. And I think it was actually Christian in the chat there was like, you should ask Jim on. And I'm like, Jim doesn't know who I am. So, and then Jim, I think he added him. Jim literally responds like, I'll be on. Sure. Like, yeah, I don't know who you are, but I'll just go on a random stream because I like doing it. So just, I didn't have like prepared questions for him. Like, so. So he says the anime girl is holding a Bible she wouldn't have been allowed to read if not for Martin Luther. That's good. I like that. That's not a nice way to talk about Arjun. No, Arjun has a Pokemon avatar, okay? I'll let that slide a little bit. Isn't it kind of gay to have an anime girl avatar? I'm sorry, can we address an elephant in a room? That's fucking gay. So look, here's the deal. Your avatar it doesn't have to be you. Okay, but I feel like on some level it's meant to represent you. Like, even if it's just like, hey, look, I took a picture. Here's a picture of a possum I found on the internet. LOL. I'm like a possum because I scream when someone hits me with a broom or whatever. It's just, even if it's in a funny way, it's supposed to be you. It's your fucking avatar. Like, isn't it a little sus, as the kids like to say? Isn't it a little sus, chat, to have a girl as your avatar if you're a supposedly straight man? Aaron Clary says, why can't I super chat a why? Of course you can super chat, Aaron. You go to streamlabs.com/thebechtloff and super chat. I don't have YouTube super chats, Aaron. Okay? I'm too dangerous, all right? YouTube, Google, they won't allow me to have monetization, all right? Maybe they let you have monetization. I don't know. All right? I don't know, man. I guess the deep state isn't as strict like you as they are me. Or it could just be that I can't watch my fucking mouth. It could be that. One or the other. But I think it's more that the deep state is threatened. But you can go to streamlabs.com/thebechtloff and super chat. I'm a boomer. I don't understand technology. Can you donate to yourself? You go to streamlabs.com/ It's literally like an extra click, Aaron. Streamlabs.com. I think the link is in the description. Streamlabs.com/thebechtloff. Boom, there you go. It doesn't. You don't even have to use your name. You could use all sorts of goofy names. You can call yourself MilFunner 420 or whatever. Fuck you want. But no, YouTube's not going to let me have monetization. Are you kidding me? Come on. I'm too dangerous, right? All right, what is this video we got to watch? Joe and Matt Walsh disagree over gay marriage. Oh, wow. I'm sure this is going to be very riveting. Oh, I saw the new Godzilla last night. Pretty good. Pretty good, actually. I liked it a lot. I thought it was going to suck. Like, Godzilla vs. Kong was pretty fucking stupid. It was fun. It was pretty fucking stupid. And I thought, this is just probably going to get even more stupid. And it kind of does, but in a really good way, in a really entertaining way. First of all, the human characters. We chop out a lot of human characters in this. We have the bare minimum we need for exposition, and that's it. The rest of this is just monsters. I mean, this is like borderline WALL-E at times, in that there's just large sections where you're following a non-human character, and there is no dialogue. And they're the best parts by a wide margin. I also love the fact that in the MonsterVerse, Mothra is basically Godzilla's girlfriend. And it's the only thing Godzilla fears in the MonsterVerse movies is the disapproval of his moth girlfriend. That's it, man. That's the only thing. Literally, like, so there's this big threat in the Hollow Earth. So Kong comes up to get Godzilla's help. And Godzilla immediately makes a beeline for him as soon as he's up there. And just starts trying to murder him. Because that's just Godzilla's thing. He just wants to kill every other monster. He's okay with Kong being in a Hollow Earth, but not up. So Godzilla's just... And Kong is literally trying to, like, calm him down and get him to the hole. And Godzilla's having none of it. He's just curb stomping him. And then Mothra shows up and just yells at him. And Godzilla's like, okay, babe, yeah, it's... Nah, babe, Godzilla... Kong and I were just talking. Right, Kong? We were just talking. We were catching up. I hadn't seen him in a while. But it was fun. It was a very fun movie. Like, there's a scene, like, Kong goes down and finds, like, other Kongs, like, deeper in Hollow Earth. And there's literally a scene where he grabs, like, the baby Kong. And it's because, like, all these other Kongs are attacking him. He grabs, like, a baby Kong, starts swinging him around and hitting the other Kongs with it. It's fucking great, man. It is fun as hell. So he says it was more of a friendly chat between you and Medicare than an interview years ago. Yeah, it wasn't an interview. I literally didn't know it was coming on until, like, 5 minutes before. Yeah, if it was... I wish I would have had more time to prepare, like, more pertinent questions. But, yeah, it was literally just like, yeah, it was nice to have him on there. Okay, Forney, we will put up. Forney has sent me images. Okay, come on. We will check Skype. Okay, Forney is very adamant that I check Skype. So it says gay marriage is the devil would be Matt Walsh's basic bed shake. Of course it is. So he has a book, The Eclipse is Satan's Brown Eye. Okay. Let's see. And now, only black people can watch it because of the melanin in our eyes. Very funny. Let me see if I can. I don't want to. Let's see if I can go ahead and get them up. She said, "Actually found your channel because you had Medicare on that one time. Have tried to catch you live when I can ever since." Well, thank you very much for that. I mean, I don't know that there's much going on here, but thank you very much for that. I've seen the clips of that movie. But yeah, I like Godzilla Kong a lot. It was a lot of fun. Probably one of my favorite of the MonsterVerse movies. Because again, those movies, my favorite, honestly, the one I think is just genuinely a solid movie is Kong Skull Island. The rest of them, the monster stuff is good, and the rest of the movie not so much. And this movie leans so far away from anything other than that let's see if we can add these files. Bring up Forney's files here. There we go. There's his one. The Eclipse is Satan's Brown Eye. Kong Skull Island had some. Somebody says Godzilla vs. Biollante is the best. Well, that's not the MonsterVerse stuff, but I do like that movie. I think that's the first Godzilla movie I ever saw. I rented it at the video store when I was a kid just because I like. I'm a sucker for plant monsters. Always have been. If there's a plant monster in a work of fiction, I'm there, dude. And so I think that is the first one I watched, just because he's fighting a big plant monster. All right. There's the other thing Forney sent me. Black people saying they can look at the eclipse. Eldritch fan says, saying to Pox Toxic, you should have seen Bechtloff in his prime, more guest stars, him making an idiot of himself about politics, trying to host theological arguments, or reading the free folk. Well, if he popped in here for the Medicare stuff, for the Medicare chat, he would have seen most of that, I want to say. That couldn't have been too far after the election. So. Since these days he does a lot more meandering. Yeah, I don't do any fucking prep or anything for these shows anymore. I don't care enough. I'm not trying to build this channel. I just want to pop on here once in a while and, express some thoughts and hopefully make a buck because, I'm broke as a joke right now. And speaking of making a buck, I am a whore, and Duke of Tumwater did send me $25 to watch this. So I'm afraid we have to watch this, chat. I don't want to watch it, but Duke of Tumwater sent me $25 to watch this. I don't know that we're even going to watch all of it because it's like 15 minutes. But we will watch a large portion of it. Matt Walsh, by the way, sucks, just so we're clear. Everybody on the Daily Wire sucks, just so we're clear. So he says, I still want to know what happened to the bald guy with the unbridled hatred for box factories. I think he's just working. I think he's just living his life, from what I understand. He's living his best life, stunning and brave. I think he streams still, I've heard. But it's like on BitChute or DLive or something. On Kick, I don't know. It's on one of them. He deleted his YouTube channel so he could fucking blame me. So he can't be on YouTube no more.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
I think of marriage is a certain thing, which is the context for procreation, for the building of the nuclear family.
What about people that get married that don't have kids? Are you opposed to that? What if they get married, they decide, you know what, we don't need kids, I'm going to get fixed. You get your tubes tied, let's travel the world.
Well, what do you mean am I opposed to it? I mean, I think that every married couple should be open to life.
But what if they don't?
I hate that fucking phrasing from Catholics. Open to life. I hate how Catholics, and by the way, conservative Protestants like to do this too, but it's not as baked in as it is with the Catholics. Just want to reduce us to animals in a breeding pen. There's a guy on Twitter right now, and I retweeted him. He's getting dragged, and he does seem like he's an obnoxious fag, but he's getting dragged because he's like, stop bringing your shithead kids to the fucking grocery store. Like, parents, your kids are obnoxious, stop bringing them in public. And he's like, oh, you're so anti-kids, you hate children. And it's like, no, I just don't want to deal with your fucking misbehaving children in public. I agree with him. Every time I'm out in public, some kid's fucking causing a goddamn problem. And I'm sitting here like, I didn't get to come in this bitch. Why does this kid have to be my problem? It should be open for life. By the way, Matt Walsh doesn't love his kids, just so we're clear. Matt Walsh is likely not physiologically capable of love. He's probably a sociopath. But he doesn't love his kids. He just wanted to have them. Because he's supposed to. It's a status symbol. And why do all these guys have the fucking cuck physiognomy, or whatever the hell however you say it. I don't know how to say it. I'm retarded. But you know what I'm saying. Why do y'all look like you're sitting in a watching chair? It's their favorite sexual position.
Want to? Do you opposed?
Duke of Tumwater, $5. Here's some more money. Well, thank you very much for that. So it says, you are my spoony and nostalgia critic, Bechtloff. Just not as personally reprehensible, or at least you're not a jerk about it. I mean, I am a shitbag, but I'm not as big of a shitbag as Spoony. I'll grant myself that little bit of grace.
To them being married. If marriage is only for procreation and to bond a family together, what about people that are deeply in love that never want to have children?
I don't think it's not only procreation, but that is one of the fundamental definitions.
I'm amazed you got a Catholic to say that much. I'm going to say something. For all their posturing, these people don't value marriage. They don't. They value you making more of yourself. They value you making kids. Birth rate's always got to go up. Green line always got to go up. They imagine that that's both possible and desirable. I don't know why. God should be fruitful and multiply. Yeah, I read that book. He said they were like two people. Okay? He didn't say breed irresponsibly until you've exhausted your resources. He didn't say that. Right? There's 8 billion motherfuckers on the planet and growing. For all the crying about declining birth rates, the population is not fucking going down. It's not. Hopefully, if birth rates remain kind of low, it will. Because there's too fucking many of us. Ooh, shut up. There's too many of us. Don't give me that bullshit. That pie in the sky horse shit about how there can be 100 billion of us. We are already at a point where half of the world is fucking starving. The lifestyle you and I enjoy, if you're listening to this right now, you enjoy a lifestyle higher than what is sustainable for 8 billion motherfuckers. Period. Maybe one day we'll have Star Trek replicators and bullshit like that. But that day ain't today. A reasonably comfortable first world lifestyle is not attainable for 8 billion motherfuckers. It is not. And it likely never will be. We should be barely scratching over 1 billion. If that. Now, mind you, here in the West, we're not overcrowded. But that ain't the whole world, is it? And the more overcrowded places, by the way, are the poorer ones.
National aspects of it. Of course, there's more to marriage just than that.
And what about people that are infertile? They fall in love and they realize that they can have babies. They don't really necessarily want to adopt. Is that okay for them to be married? Because then by definition, marriage falls into a completely different thing. Because then it's a bond of love. It's a union of love.
Sure. I mean, that doesn't change the nature of marriage, though. It's a little bit like I say that. What's the definition of a woman? Well, a woman is someone who, by her nature, can conceive children in her womb and bear children. And then the response is always, well, what about women who are infertile?
Everything comes down to breeding with these people. Everything. It's an ironically very Darwinian viewpoint from the group of creationists. Everything is about breeding to these people. And look, you want to have kids, have kids. Having kids is a wonderful fucking thing. If that's what the fuck you want. But maybe it's not the end-all, be-all of fucking existence. It's like, what is the... I live for my kids. Well, do they have a point outside of making more of the... Do any of us have a point outside of making more of us? I swear, if you took an anthill and added a Sunday morning church service, it would be the ideal society for a fucking trad.
Does that destroy your definition of woman? And it doesn't, because it's still a woman's nature.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Not every woman will, and there will be disease and infertility and old age and all these things that will preclude that. But it's still of her nature to do so, and I would say the same thing for marriage. I mean, it is natural in a marriage for procreation to occur. It's not always going to happen in reality, though. But that's still one of the natural functions of marriage, and married couples who can't conceive children. There are other ways to be parents, like adoption, for example,
if they want to. Right, sure. But if people want to be married and don't want to ever have children, are you opposed to them being married?
Well, I'm not. I wouldn't advocate a law that would prevent it.
But would it change the
He can't even say no. He can't even say no. He cannot even say that a marriage is valuable inherently without children. You understand that literally God uses his relationship with the church. He uses the metaphor of marriage for it. Now, yeah, it's a metaphor, okay? I know a lot of fucking pagan, Jew on a stick guys get hung up on that phrasing. But it is the metaphor, okay? Because that's how valuable marriage inherently is. It's why this is upsetting. Because understand, these guys don't value marriage as anything other than utilitarian. Their idea of marriage... You ever read The Giver? It's a great book if you haven't. It is kind of for kids, but it's a great fucking book. That's the kind of marriages they want. You know? Sexless marriages designed by the state in order to rear children. That's what they want. And this is also a thing with social conservatives on the Protestant end. On, you know, evangelicals and stuff. They don't really fucking believe in love.
Of what their marriage is to you because they don't want to have a family, they just want to have a loving bond.
I am very humbly asking if you...
Oh, for God's sakes. Fuck off. You have more money than me. Let's go ahead and report this fucking ad. How about that? Oh, you're not going to do it. Okay. Yeah, let's block the ad. You're lucky I'm voting for you as bad as you fucked up last time, Donnie.
I think this would be a couple that is rejecting one of the fundamental aspects of marriage, and they should be open to life. I would hope that in the future they would be, but
isn't that just a personal choice? I mean, you can have a very fulfilling life if you just follow your pursuits and your dreams and your interests, and you find someone that shares those interests with you, and you share time together. It's very fulfilling and loving.
Yeah, it's a personal choice, and that I'm not advocating for like a law that says that you if you're married you have to have X number.
Not yet. I don't buy for a second if he didn't have the authority to, he wouldn't. I don't want to watch all this, Jesus. Because first of all, it's just going in circles. Like, is it just 15 minutes of him going in circles like this? But no, Joe, you're not going to talk. You're not going to talk basic humanity into this soulless husk. Duke of Tumwater sent another $5 with no message, but thank you very much for that. God, I hate those people. I fucking hate them. There's no fucking soul to those things. Like, and yeah, before you get on my head, I'm not saying literally. Like, yes, he has a soul. A shriveled, gnarled little fucking, barely a root of one deep down inside there, but I guess it is there. Just passionless. Just...
Have you heard of Jesus?
Duke of Tumwater donates $5, says, keep watching the vid. Why? What else is in there? You're in the chat, Duke. What else is in there? Okay, is there a point when they don't just repeat themselves? Is there a point where this doesn't just act like arguing with the Borg? Skip ahead a bit. We're going to skip ahead to about 5 minutes, 30 seconds. How about that? Unless you have a specific timestamp. We're going to... Did I page you? That's why. Oh, okay. Well, we're skipping ahead. I told you I'm not watching the whole thing.
I'm not talking about on the individual level. I'm talking about on the societal level.
Right.
Aren't you always?
I would agree that divorce, especially, is no fault of...
Let's go back a little.
It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 50% of all marriages end in divorce anyway. They don't make it. You know, I don't know if anything would damage marriage and damage the institution of marriage is the option of divorce. I don't think gay people getting married in any way, shape, or form changes a bond that you have with your wife. It's just called marriage. It's a human invented thing. If we decide that gay people can get married too, I just don't see how it damages anything. I don't think it tears down the definition of marriage in any way. It just opens up the possibility that people who are gay won't be discriminated against.
Yeah, I don't think that a gay couple existing directly impacts. You know, there's a gay couple and wherever, and I'm with my wife in our house. Like, obviously,
right.
There's not.
Have you heard of Jesus?
No, I imagine it's more you being a sociopath that impacts it. Fallen King says, here for a few more minutes, stinky cheese. Well, thank you very much for that. Killing me.
I'm talking about on the individual level. I'm talking about on the societal level.
Right.
I would agree that divorce, especially, this no-fault divorce, rampant divorce, I don't think it's as high as 50%. I know that's often quoted. I'm not sure where that comes from, but it is high. It's too high. And
Chris Rock has a great joke about that. He said those are just the people with the courage to get out. It's like, how many cowards stay?
But it's also true that the advocates for what we call now traditional marriage, which I just call marriage, but the advocates for traditional marriage put themselves at a disadvantage by especially in the churches, like allowing this rampant divorce to occur. And then you've already sort of given up on some marriage is supposed to be monogamous and permanent, as well as procreative. Well, you've given up monogamy and permanence, and so now it's not. That's two of the three legs gone, and so now this assault was.
Wait, Cuck. Who was giving up monogamy? I've heard many people give that part up. We still generally frown on adultery in this country.
On the procreative part of it, and it was difficult to withstand it because the institution had already been weakened. So I agree with you there, but my answer to that is to try to reinforce what marriage is, not to just give up on it entirely. And I still think you're left with this question of, like, if marriage is not what I'm saying it is, then why do we even need it? What's the point? I mean, you're saying it's a man-made institution.
Yes,
but you're also, like, the way that you're presenting it, it's a totally meaningless institution.
No,
they don't need it at all.
No, it's not meaningless because it means something to the people that get married.
So it's just a subjective, symbolic thing. I mean, what?
Yeah.
So if you're
kind of what it is. Look, there's a massive responsibility.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Married, and when you have children, to keep your family together and and keep everybody happy and healthy, and there's great reward to that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work out. It's people change. People are fucked up. It doesn't always work. And so I don't think it should be outlawed because 50% of the people fall apart. Just like I don't think it has any effect whatsoever on a straight couple if a gay couple decides that they want to make it official. And that's what it is to them. It gives them a feeling that they're accepted and appreciated and that they're not discriminated against because they happen to be homosexual.
So, well, what you're articulating to me is the damage that's done by gay marriage to the institution of marriage.
But how is it done? How is that in any way damaged straight people?
Look, I'm going to say something. And I understand the fucking alphabet mafia has gotten completely out of hand recently. And maybe that's the consequence of gay marriage. But the idea that gay marriage destroyed marriage or even significantly harmed it as an institution, I don't think that fucking panned out. It's in no worse shape than it was. And what is hurting it is the actions of heterosexuals. Let's be real. You know, it's done no damage to this institution. Again, you could say it maybe emboldened the fucking Rainbow Mafia, which has caused problems. That's actually fair. That, you know, giving them that inch and they wanted to take a mile right up a kid's ass. That's fair. But as for its damage to the institution of marriage, that didn't fucking happen.
Because we are making the institution meaningless.
By the way, Joe Rogan's not the greatest fucking debater in the world. Usually he just sits there high as a kite and going, wow, that's crazy, man. But he pushes Matt Walsh's shit in here. At least in my opinion. Now, I agree with Joe a bit, at least a bit more. So I guess I'm biased. And I despise Matt Walsh just on virtually every level. But Matt Walsh sounds like he's on his back foot the whole fucking time here. You know, just body language. Who looks like they're in control of this conversation?
But it's not meaningless.
Well, but you
it's
just
very
said,
meaningful to the people that have it.
Subjective, symbolic, and it's about your own personal feelings.
Isn't it, though?
Well, no, I would say that it's not.
Well, if it's not subjective and it's not symbolic,
it codifies and protects and gives a name to a thing that actually exists, which are man, woman, couples creating people, creating babies.
But not always.
Right, but again, that's still the nature of the union. So,
but what are the percentage of people today that are married that don't have children? I bet it's pretty high amongst heterosexuals.
Probably.
Is there something wrong with that?
I think there is something wrong with that. I think there is something wrong with getting married and saying, we're not going to have any kids at all.
But why is there something wrong with that if someone's personal choice? Well, why is it wrong that two people are like, I am deeply committed to work and I don't want to sacrifice any of my career and I don't want to ruin a kid because I'm constantly at the office, but that's where I get deep satisfaction and that's what I'm focused on. And the woman says, that's great because I don't want children either. I really am attached to my interests and my career and what I like to do. That's not damaging your relationship with your wife and your family. I certainly don't think of it as a threat to my marriage or my family.
Yeah, it is a personal choice.
Right, but shouldn't people be allowed to make those personal choices? Like, isn't that
Well, Matt Walsh doesn't believe in personal choice or personal freedom. Matt Walsh believes in the collective, always and every time.
Fundamental aspect of what it means to be American, to have that freedom?
Well,
Yeah, don't ask a Catholic what it means to be an American.
Yeah, but right now we're not talking about what people are allowed to do. I'm not saying that.
Well, we're talking about marriage, gay marriage.
Okay, we were just discussing straight couples who choose not to have kids.
That's also a personal freedom issue,
right.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that straight couples should be legally required to have kids, but if you're asking me, do I think it's the right choice to just get married and choose not to have kids ever? I do not think that's the right choice. It's their choice, but people can make choices that are wrong.
Okay, but can't the gay people make choices that are wrong, Matt? Or that one's not okay?
And you can disagree.
How is it wrong if they have a fulfilling and wonderful life?
And by the way, it's not wrong to not have kids. There's any number of valid reasons to have kids. Or not have kids.
Together with that choice. If their thing is that they just want to have a bond between the two of them to just like take it to the next level, let everybody know like we are married. If I die, my money's going to go to Helen. And if Helen dies, I'm going to mourn her because she was my wife and now I'll be a widower. Like to some people that distinction gives them peace and security and makes them feel better about the relationship. That they're both so committed that they've legally signed documents that say that they're bound by law and under the eyes of God or whatever you believe in.
Yeah. They're able to make that choice, but I think you're still rejecting one of the purposes of marriage. And in the scenario that you just outlined, you're also deciding to live a really self-centered.
Okay, Matt, here'd be my question for you. What if, for example, you're a bearded, cuck-looking fucking sociopath, right? And you were to actually, in a rare moment of self-awareness, say, wow, I'm actually a sociopath, and I'm not physiologically capable of genuinely loving my children, no matter how much material goods I give them. And also, perhaps this is genetic, and they too would have this fucking disorder, so maybe I shouldn't breed. Like, wouldn't that be an actually selfless decision, Matt? I mean, I understand that that's not what you did, but wouldn't it be? Seems like it would be.
Life, you're saying.
But what if you're not? What if your work is very charitable? What if it benefits humanity in a deep way? What if you spend a lot of time...
Uh-oh. People in the chat saying F. Oh, shit. Did Joe Rogan copyright me? Did I get copyright bought it?